Alrighty guys, in the last video I mentioned I had a 2021 Toyota Camry coming in here this week for a remote start. It should be a fairly simple one. This is a push button start. It's not a key. That's one thing that they're always going to ask you. It just has the fob that you carry and push the button to start it. So what we're going to do is get set up over here on the laptop and see what it calls for. And I'm sure that I have it. So let's get set up there and we'll show you how to do that. Alrighty, so we're going to go to flashlogic.com. These have to be flashed on Internet Explorer. Chrome won't work. See, they're recommending me to use Chrome, but we're not switching right now. We need to be on Internet Explorer. And this should be in my favorites here. Flashlogic. Internet hasn't been being the greatest around here. Okay, so we're going to go down here. We're going to select make. Toyota 2021 Camry, and select trim. It's a push to start automatic. See, you got standard key and push to start hybrid. It's not a hybrid, it's not a standard key, so we're going to do push to start automatic. The best thing to use here, it's telling us, is this FLRS BA, and I've got that. And optional accessories. There's no required accessories, but optional accessories, you want to get this T-harness because it makes everything so much simpler. No cutting of any wires or anything. So, let's click on that and see if it takes us. It should take us to a guide. And it's just spinning and spinning. Alright, let's go back. I've called them about this internet and I thought they had it fixed. So we're just going to go down here. We're going to click on this RSA TL7. That's the firmware. Okay. Now we're going to go over here to install guide. That tells us here everything in this T-harness, which I have too. Everything's going to be done here at the body control module. And we've got one plug at the steering lock in the steering column. So all of these aren't used. And we've got a note, this push to start, and it says connection required only if idle mode is desired. That's like if you want to push to start it to get out of the vehicle and leave it running, but we're not going to do that. So we're going to ignore this. We don't even have to hook this wire up. It's all going to be plug and play. We're not going to do a hood switch because it's already got one. So that's all there is to it. So I'm going to get this set up over at the car and show you guys what we need to do to get to these plugs. Alright, before we get in the car, let's go ahead and flash our module. So we go back to the home page, and we've got this little Flashlogic updater here. You can get these. They're not expensive. And we're going to plug the one end right in here. And we'll plug the other end into the computer. And we're going to go up here and we're going to click on flash your module, and it's going to redirect you to a different page, this web link. We're going to click on this web link RS, and you should see these little LEDs somewhere in here start flashing. Yeah, it's detecting what module we have. And we're going to go here to configure new module. Of course, we're going to select Toyota, if I can see it right here. It's a 2021 and it's a Camry. Push to start automatic. Now this is wanting to know what brand of remote we're going to use, but we're not going to use one, but just in case we were, I'm going to select Prestige. We're not using it because this works on 3x lock from the factory remote. What did I just do? And we'll say that we're going to use this one. Just ignore this, save and continue. We're not using a phone or anything. This is what they recommend the firmware to use, so we're going to click on that. We are using the T-harness. Here we're going to leave it on lock, 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 3x lock for the remote, and we're going to change the run time from 15 minutes to 25 minutes. And we're going to save and go to flash summary. And flash your device. That's just warnings telling you about Lexus vehicles and things like that. We don't have a Lexus. This is not near as hard as you want to let yourself think it is. It's just not. Once you do one or two, you realize that you can be doing this yourself. And while that's going across there, the LED is flashing. It'd be a lot faster if I had stronger internet, but I just don't. Especially out here in the shop because the router's in the house. All right. Flash complete. So, I'm going to X that off. Let's see what we got down here. Do we still have the instructions anywhere? Now see up here too, it says cut loop for automatic transmissions. So we unplug this. And what they're talking about is this little loop that sticks out right here. It always says cut that for automatic transmissions. So that's what I do. So it's cut. Now we'll get set up over here at the car and see what we got to get apart to get to this body control module and the steering wheel lock. Okay, so looking here, I think that this piece here needs to just pop off. And I see a screw down here that I'm sure is going to have to come out, a Phillips screw. That's one good thing about Toyotas. It's usually just all Phillips screws. So let's take this, pop it off. It's behind the rubber. Well, there wasn't nothing to that. Okay, there's the body control module we got to get to there, but we're not going to be able to get to it through these holes here, I don't think. So I'm going to take this screw out down here. Now let's see if this just pops off. I seem to. Oh yeah, that gives us all kinds of room. We can get right to that body control module now. So, as far as the lock, steering wheel lock, that's going to be in here. So here's a Phillips screw. And it looks like I can see some back here. The steering wheel is locked. I'm going to turn the key on. Yeah. Behind the steering wheel, we got one on each side. I'm going to lay these. I'm going to put these in this cup holder right here. Turn the other way. Get this one out. Now, wasn't nothing to that either. So, one of these plugs here, let me shut this off. These Toyotas drive me nuts with their dinging. I probably have to shut the door and reopen it for it to shut up. No, it's still going. Well, it says accessories on. Now it's on. One more time off. It looks to me like it's off. Sheesh. Okay, shut up. All right. Steering lock. We're just going to have to see which one matches this plug in there. And it tells us right here 1 and 2 for the body control module. So it looks like these back here we got to get to. The two bottom ones. 1, 2, 3. So it looks like the two bottom ones we got to get unplugged and plug T harnesses into those. So let me get the harness unwrapped. Okay, I got the harness out of the box, and there's a lot to this thing that we're not going to use. So it tells us here, not used. These two here in a square are not used, so MS1 key and MS1 and MS key 2. That's these here, so we won't be using these. We're going to be using MS push to start 1, MS push to start 2. So we're using these two. MS4. It's up here, so we're going to be using it. And then this is the one that goes up to the steering wheel. See, it says not used. VS7, VS8, VS9, VS10. We're not using any of those. We're going to use VS1 and 2. So that is these two black ones right here. That's what goes to the steering wheel lock. So that means these four here just simply aren't used. So that's all you got to do. Everything is labeled. So now we'll get set up over to the car and see what we can get unplugged and plugged back in. Remember, we're not hooking up this wire here. All right, so the steering wheel lock plug is all the way over here on this passenger side of the steering column. So what I did, since everything else is going to be over here, I just fed this around the back through here and got it coming up right below the steering column. And we want 1 and 2, connectors 1 and 2. So let's see. We're going to unplug this. And we're going to plug number 1 into it. I'm going to bring it up around the back. Again, it's hard to do this one-handed. We will plug this one into here. And number 2, we're going to plug into the one that we unplugged from there. All right. So that's plugged in, and then see, we've got 4 here that we're not using at all. So we're just going to have to tuck them back here and tie them up to something. Say with a wire tie. All right, let's get over here and see what we got to do at the body control. Okay guys, so it's these 2 bottom ones all the way back in here. These 2 right here are the ones that we have to unplug and put T's in. And I don't see how I can hold this or even get this camera in any way where you can see me do it. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and do it, and then I'll show you after it's done. And sorry, I think I cut that camera off a little bit too quick a while ago when I said I was coming over to the body control module. Okay, so I did. You need smaller hands than me, so you may have to have your kids unplug those and plug them back in. But it's really, again, it's not that bad. But now, look at all this crap that we're not going to use. It's not with this application because this works with so many different vehicles. So I'm going to cut off these bare ends and tape them up with some tape and everything. And then we're going to plug all what goes into the module into it. And we're going to do the programming. So let me get this taped up and kind of tied up in there where it's not touching anything. All right, guys. So this is the nerve-wracking part when it comes to, I got the laptop in the car. When it comes to reading these steps and doing everything and watching these LEDs at the same time, seeing what they're doing. But I've got everything wrapped up that we didn't need, and I've got the connectors plugged in that they say we do need, and the ones that we didn't need are not plugged in, which to me is so weird. I've never seen this big one not being plugged in, but it says no connection. So we've got the loop cut. So it says, get this light out of here. The hood must be closed, which it is. It doesn't say anything about the doors having to be closed. So, get in here because we will have to start the car if this works. I'm trying to think where it would be best. I might set that camera where you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. Hold on. Okay, it says hood must be closed. Push the start button twice to the on position. If LED turns solid green for 2 seconds, proceed to step 7. So we're going to jump over here if it turns solid green for 2 seconds. If the LED flashes green rapidly, we're going to proceed to step 3, which says push the start button to the off position. Wait, LED will turn solid red. This may take up to 5 minutes. Push start button twice to the on position. Wait, LED will turn green for 2 seconds. Push start button to the off position. Then it says start the vehicle for 15 seconds. Press and hold the brake pedal. Press and release the module programming button, which is right here. And release the brake pedal. Wait, LED will flash green. Module program procedure complete. So that to me, this is the most stressful part, trying to read this and watch this and make sure I'm doing the steps right. So I hope that it turns green for 2 seconds and we just jump to 7. That's what I'm hoping. I hope it doesn't start flashing green. So let's see what happens. We're going to push it twice. It's red. Okay, it went green. It went off. Okay, we're going to push it off. On. Honestly, I think we could go ahead and start it right now and do the 15-second thing. I'm watching the clock. Okay, we're going to hold the brake, we're going to press and release this, release the brake. It flashed green, we're shutting it off. I think it did what it's supposed to. At the time, I didn't feel like I was doing it right, but I think I did. So, let's get out of here and try it. Okay, we're going to press the lock button 3 times. We're going to see if the car starts. Look at that. See, it's not hard, guys. You could do it yourself. Even I was panicking at that computer, but if you don't get it, you just start over from the beginning. Let's see what takeover procedure is. That wasn't it, because it shut off. So I probably should have hit unlock on this first. Let me get this off here. It doesn't say what takeover procedure is. This may be one of those that I didn't notice. A lot of Toyota Lexus vehicles shut off when you open the door, and there's nothing you can do about it because I don't see a takeover procedure. It usually tells you what to do to get in it and take off. Let me study this a little bit and I'll get back with you. Okay, so yeah, I overlooked that. If we go back to the home page, and we chose the BA, and we chose this ADS THR TL10T harness, and I go down here to make sure it's compatible with 3 times lock, and it is. But look, it says no takeover available. Shut down on unlock or door open. So there's nothing we can do about it. No takeover available. And that's all the way across the board. So no matter what, when she opens this door, it's going to shut off. But I mean, there's a lot of Toyota and Lexus vehicles that do that. It's not a big deal. The car is still warmed up from being remote started, and you just put your foot on the brake and start it and go. So that's just the way it is when it comes to Toyota and Lexus. There's a few that don't do that, but this one does. So let's get all this stuff put back together. Get all this tied up in here. And it didn't take long to get it apart, so it shouldn't take long to get it together. Alright guys, I got this all tied up in here. Make sure it's not touching anything sharp, anything metal, any moving parts. Same up here underneath the steering wheel. I've got all this tied up right here. This one, I think I may... Let me grab another wire tie just to get this one over here. I got those tied up there away from the column. I'm going to tie this one over here to this harness right here, just so it's more out of the way of this tilt mechanism, and then we'll get this put back together. All right, everything's tied up in there, so let's see how quick we can get this thing put back together. Well, remember, we gotta turn this on to get to these screws that we put in the cup holder. All right, listen to it ding again. We had one at the bottom. And we had a screw down here. I just kicked that. I hope you guys can still see. Let me check. And I dropped the screw. Jeez, let's shut this thing up if we can. Got this screw down here. Missing one down here somewhere. What am I missing? It's not latching tight at the bottom. There. Okay, it's all back together. locked. One, two, three. Can't beat that. But we're going to go up here. This time we're going to hit unlock. And the car shuts off, because that's what Toyotas and Lexuses do. So guys, I'm saying that you could probably do this in an hour by yourself. I wouldn't see why not. There was 1, 2, 3, 4 Phillips screws and just all T-harnesses. That's all there is to it, and flashing it. Pretty simple. And you know what? Something else I've never showed you guys is this 97 F350. I've got the battery charger on it. It hasn't been off the property but one time in 2 years. If you guys want to see it, I can get it cleaned out. Let me know. I need to get that cleaned up and do a video on it. Anyway, if this video helped you in any way, or if you like this video, please remember to hit the thumbs up, like the video, and leave me a comment and subscribe to my channel. And stay tuned for more remote starts and repairs and classic cars and trucks. Thank you very much for watching.